I'm so happy you have time today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I will do my best. My name is Caricia. I'm a psychic development coach for kids. I guide kids that have paranormal abilities to understand them and to work with them. And I also guide the parents because the parents most of the time are the ones that are in stress and don't really know what to do. So that's what I do as a job. And I've been studying this kind of stuff for more than 10 years right now. So I have a lot of experience in
Oh,
here.
yeah. Yes. And you're always helping me. I have a first question for you. Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I do. I do. Yes.
Do you have any personal experience?
Yes. Since I was born, I've always been able to see ghosts. At some point in my life, I blocked that ability.
Hmm.
And then I reopened it again. So it's like a light switch going on and off.
Yeah, yeah. And you could see ghosts since you were a kid, right?
Yes, I could.
Yeah. Were you terrified?
I was. I really like because I didn't really know what those people wanted, and
Hmm.
it was very um strange to just see someone standing in your room, not being able to really communicate with them, not really being able
Yeah.
to like understand what they wanted.
Hmm.
And
How was this
yes,
experience? I mean, what did you see exactly?
I don't recall precisely because I was 2 years old when I told my dad
Hmm.
about my first experience. Um, but I told my dad I saw a woman, an older woman with a young boy.
Yeah.
And
So you could
later
really
on,
see them in
yes,
human form.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, I could. And later on, someone else came by our house to just like check on the house and see if indeed there was something. And he repeated my words, like exactly my words,
Yeah.
even though my parents didn't tell him anything about the what I
Yeah.
experienced. I saw a lot of shadowy figures.
Mhm.
I'm not really sure if they are ghosts. Um,
Or something else. Yes.
and I've seen my dead grandpa. Like I saw him pass away. Which was a really interesting experience to like see him like
Yeah.
go get out of his body. Um, One of my roommates, her grandma passed away, and housemates when I was studying,
Hmm.
and she came by to say hi to me, and then tell her that she passed away, which was also a very interesting experience. So yeah, I've got a few.
Yeah. Wow. Do you believe that ghosts have intentions? Do you think they want something from us, or are they just there and confused, or are there different reasons for them to stick around?
Oh, I like that question. So there are different. I think there are different kinds of spirits. Um, at least that's what I've noticed. So you have the ones that can pass away, that can go up to, well, I would call it heaven.
Mm.
And you also have the ghosts that are like they don't even know that they're dead. And they're like stuck in between. I call it limbo because it's like a common word for it. Um and just like they're just like floating around. And because they don't have a physical form anymore, they don't have a brain, so their conscious is very yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah, I can.
their
Yeah.
conscious is not really being able to become aware that they're actually dead unless someone tells them, but nobody there can tell them that they're dead.
Yeah, I mean, especially because being dead is a physical experience, it's not a spiritual
Yeah.
experience. So they cannot understand it probably in that state anymore.
Yes, and if someone is like hit by a car or a bus, or I don't know, they fell off a cliff, death can happen so quickly that they don't even like they didn't have the time to understand, like, hey, I'm actually dying right now. No, they're just like,
Yeah.
wow, they're dead. And they're out of their physical body. And it's hard for them to grasp that they're not alive anymore.
Yeah.
So um they're just like lingering around.
Yeah,
and they're
just a
just
different
stuck.
experience. It must be very confusing. It's like when you're dreaming, for example, you also don't always know that you're dreaming. You're just experiencing a different kind of reality, and it just takes a while, or it's just when you wake up again that you realize it was a different world or a different kind of experience. So
Yeah,
while you're
exactly.
experiencing it, sometimes difficult to understand. Do you believe there are many people that experience that kind of encounters, let's say? Because I feel there are actually, and even people that are not extremely spiritual or don't really deal with uh, these kind of topics. People don't believe in too many things, for example, or they didn't experience too much. But still, when they're talking to me, they come up with stories like, okay, you know what? Now I have to tell you this thing, and I never talk about it. But yeah, once I was visited by a ghost, and then again and again, and I was tortured by one, and things like that come up.
How convenient is it actually that it is that there is a fear-based mentality around spirituality? It's a rhyme.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How convenient is that? Because it means that it can sort of like keep a secret, nobody can talk about it, so you don't want to share experiences. And the moment we start to share experiences, it starts to feel more normal.
Yeah.
And we start to understand it better ourselves. And so we can grow within our own spiritual ways. As an example, when you tell me a story about your own experiences, which you sometimes do, or you have a question,
Yeah.
I can also learn from it as well, and you can learn from it too. But because there's such a big fear-based belief around these topics, people don't want to share their stories. People don't want to talk about it. And so we don't learn.
Yeah, I think people think that they are crazy or they don't really trust in their own experience. They don't know what's
Yeah,
going on and they are afraid probably of talking about it.
these experiences, like so many people have these experiences.
Yeah.
I know there are also some people that don't have those experiences, but there are so many people that do. And I have the same because I'm very open about sorry, my voice is like
No problem.
excuse my voice changes. It's
No
like
problem.
it's early.
It's a ghost. Yeah, I actually feel you. I was so sick the last week, so I still have pain every time I laugh or cough. I want to die.
Yes, sometimes when I now because I'm so open about my spirituality, that I am psychic and that I have certain abilities and that I help kids with this, people that I didn't expect come to me and actually they tell about their own stories and they tell about their experiences. And sometimes I'm so shocked because the experiences they have, they're not basic experiences.
Yeah.
They're actually very advanced
Yeah.
spiritual experiences. And I'm like, and you don't believe in this shit?
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't pay attention to it. That's the crazy part, that things like crazy things happen to you that you cannot explain with your logical mind, and then you don't try to dig deeper, that you don't try to understand what's going on, that you're just quiet about it. I don't get it.
Yeah, and your rational mind always tries to grasp what is happening. And so when it cannot grasp what is happening, or it cannot make a um it cannot explain it, we just try to push it away. Like we just try to ignore it, say it didn't happen. It's not real, it's not real. It's just our imagination.
Yeah.
And I can definitely say that I've had this as well when I was a kid. I've had some very crazy spiritual experiences. And when I think back, sometimes I think, no, I dreamt that. It was a
Hmm.
dream. It was a dream. And then I tell my mom, like, hey, mom, I remember this dream. And my mom was like, no, you told me that that really happened. I was there. And then I was like, what? But my rational mind created it into like a dream that I thought it was a dream to make it logical.
How do you experience these kind of dream-like dream-like states? I'm asking this because most times when something happens to me, or when I experience something like this, to me it feels like it was a dream afterwards as well, but I know that it wasn't, because I know I was awake. I even know that my eyes were open. I know that I could see it. I know that they were not closed. So it's like an image in front of my eyes that comes and goes, and I'm just still there. Just there's this gap.
So you mean it's like you're in like a meditative state and you're experiencing the things you see, or you mean during the day? And
Sometimes both. I just had it today. It's an intense day, to be honest, because I have this. I'm hearing and seeing things the whole morning already. It's since a couple of weeks really intense. I was just walking and I had an image in my mind, and it was like that. It was like jumping at me, and afterwards it always feels like, yes, was it just in my mind? Did I just imagine it?
but if it's in your mind, it doesn't mean it's not real.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But how do you experience this when you see something? What does it feel like for you?
It depends on the situation. Sometimes it feels so surreal, because I have surrendered to like like a higher power with my own powers. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
For me, I have let go of trying to get control over my psychic abilities because I don't want my ego to interfere with my psychic abilities.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I want God to completely control this part of me
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to interfere with other people's lives, and play for God myself because I'm not. And so when I have psychic experiences or when I talk to some people sometimes, I have had it a few times with you, or when I'm doing healings, I'm not myself. Like something else is going through me. And so my consciousness is shoved to the back of my mind, and I'm not really present. Well, I am present, but I'm like,
It's like as if your personality was stepping back.
Yeah, or like when you're sitting in the classroom and you're just like daydreaming, but the teacher is still telling you stuff. And you know what the teacher is telling you.
Yeah.
But you're but you're also daydreaming.
Yeah.
And then when you sort of like focus on the situation, you forget your daydream completely and you know exactly what the teacher is saying. So I know exactly what I've done, but I wasn't really there. Like it feels a bit like that.
I understand. Yeah. Yeah. It's like you're channeling your own higher powers into the situation, and your own mind is
like,
just somewhere.
it's basically channeling. Like I see myself as a vessel for God's energy. Like I don't heal people, he heals people through me. Like I'm a tool.
Yeah. Would you say that there's something that we can do for letting this energy flowing better, or to communicate with spirits more fluently, to understand them better?
Something that I would always tell people is like never seek out contact yourself. Never do that. Because like why would you
Yeah, I can tell you why, because we already also had this conversation once, and I was really thankful for your advice, because I remember myself being visited a couple of times, but I didn't understand why. I didn't understand what was happening, so I just knew something was going on.
The moment you try to understand, you try to see contact, it's something you do with your head. You're trying to understand it. You're trying to make it normal, trying to make it like understand with your rational brain, which you cannot do because it's not something you do with your it's not math. It's not science. It's something you can't even taste, feel, touch, hear. Like some do. I mean, I can smell them. If they don't seek out contact with you first, like don't do it. And I'm trying to make you understand why, like the listener, if you do it first, they think, hey, like there's a bridge now between us. We can open and make contact through this bridge all the time right now because there is a link. And it like you don't really know if it's who this entity is, what it is, if it's pure, if it's false light. The moment you try to understand what it is, you're not really feeling within yourself what it truly is. If you try to understand with your mind, you don't really feel what it actually is.
It is, yeah, which would be the right tool actually, because when you try to sense it with your mind, you're creating a story around it. So the feelings that you get from the situations are the feelings that you get out of your own story and not out of the situation. So that's
our mind is so good at like telling
Yeah.
tales, at creating something that is not true.
Yeah.
It's making us believe something we want to believe. And if we are up here, we can't really see the truth.
Do you think you need to be in a certain state in order to attract positive or negative spirits? Because I remember myself also calling you in the morning after having a really negative experience, and I thought, okay, how did that happen? Because I would say that I'm normally in a very positive state.
Lighthearted person. Yeah.
Yes, kind of. But and this was really confusing.
So no, I don't think so. I think you can attract any kind, even demon to spirits. Like there's a difference between lost souls, demons, spirits. Like there is a difference. Low vibrational entities or high vibrational entities, like it doesn't really matter. You can attract any of them in whatever state of being you are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because sometimes certain entities come towards you with a very low vibration, just like the creepy thing that came to you. And it's just there to challenge you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there to challenge you, to see if there is still a way in, to notice if you'll get trapped into your head or if you'll stay in here. How strong are you?
Okay, then I think I passed the challenge.
I think so too. It's just a challenge. It's a test. Which can, like, if you fail a test, it can result into many different things that aren't that nice. But if you pass the test, like you get to like a level higher.
But I mean, is energy not always attracting same kind of energy? So shouldn't it be that because I am already vibrating on a lower state, that I'm attracting something that's also vibrating on a fearful state? So wouldn't it be me then that in a sense called this thing in because there was something in me that was dark in that moment of time?
Yes, it could be that little part that is most of the time inside of your subconscious mind, that it wants to challenge, because of course there's a link that they can attach to.
Must be. I mean, where should it come from? How could it even come close to me, even if it's just a tiny part, as you say?
And that's the part that they challenge, the part that links to them. But for some reason, I also feel like you don't really, it doesn't really matter in what level or what if your frequency is very high, because people that have a very pure soul, that their frequency is very high, and they're really light people, they can attract the most darkest, creepiest entities towards them. So, and I see that as a challenge. And not precisely that it's part of them anymore, because perhaps they like already purified parts of their ego that much that they're that they don't really have to attract the demon.
Maybe there is a little rest. I mean, there was once somebody who asked, can you be fully enlightened? And it's very difficult to be fully enlightened because you're always part of a collective, and we are all one. It's not like I'm just me and you are just you. So we are all connected and we are telepathically connected to each other. So even if you're probably not fearful in this moment, or if you don't carry baggage all the time, it comes back to you, probably sometimes through others who are in a sense also part of you, but also because we are never completely, let's say, healed. We are always in a part of this dualism, so ego will always be involved, even if it's a tiny bit. So there may be always a little rest, and maybe this is the link.
The challenge keeps coming back, even though you're very healed and going through, like, if you're already healed your ego. When you don't get like up here in your mind, when this is not being activated by the thing that comes to you that's triggering, you can stay within your heart, and it's like, dude, what you doing?
Yeah, exactly. This was the reaction. I was afraid afterwards. So I think in the morning when I thought about it, after I thought about it, that's a good point. After thinking about it, I experienced something like fear, and I thought, holy shit, what was this? But in the very moment when it happened, I remember myself saying fuck off because I was tired and I had no time for this thing, and I was just annoyed. So it was really the purest reaction from my heart was leave me alone. Like,
yeah. Yeah, precisely. So your heart will sort it out. Like, it knows exactly what to do, because it's part of your higher self. It's the gateway to your intuition and to your higher self, and that's what protects you. Like, it already knows what to do. So that's why I say, like, if I start to interfere with my ego, if I want to understand, if I want to work and do the work myself, I'm never going to be able to do it, because my brain cannot comprehend it. My brain is not able to do this kind of work. So I love doing this work because I don't really have to do it, because something else
you're right.
It's one of the most important things to do, is like become aware what your mind is telling you, become aware of like your own ego. For me, meditating and journaling helps. Spiritual development is a combination of psychic development and a purification of your soul, but a big part of this is also personal development, and it's all psychological. So understand yourself, work through your mind, understand your ego, like, what is it doing? And the moment you do healing, the moment you do meditation, images come up, you start feeling stuff in your body. Like, try to separate those things. Try to see the images for what they are, and try to feel what your body is actually telling you about the images. Because if you start to interpret those images with your mind, you will never grasp the true meaning of them. Only your body, your intuition, yourself is telling you what the real meaning is. And I think those are very interesting and important practices to try out.
It gets difficult to let all these things happen. Like, you don't even let them pass through you, because you're blocking them instantly by being in your mind the whole time, by telling your story. So you are focused on a specific story already, and we cannot focus on everything. You cannot see and feel and sense everything all at once. So you're always focused on something. And as long as you're focused on your story, you're in your head repeating the story, you're close to the whole world. So when you're going deeply into the self-development topics there, and you understand that you are not the ego, you're not your story, then suddenly there is a new world opening up to you. Then suddenly you can perceive more. And I'm still at a point where a couple of months ago I blocked an experience. But it was in the middle of the night. I knew something's coming in, because I have really specific body sensations when something like that is happening, like when being is coming towards me. And I know something will happen now, and I was not ready for that. I was not in my safe space. I was somewhere else, and I knew, oh no, not now, not here. And I blocked it. And I regret it a little bit, even though regret is also part of self-told story. Yeah, I think this is how we actually also block things, by telling ourselves that it's not the time, it's not the place.
I think it's a very convenient illusion that you can never attract bad stuff if your frequency is high enough.
Okay.
I think that's a lie that people tell themselves to feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't I don't buy it.
Yes,
Without the one, there can never be the other.
Yeah.
So if your frequency gets so high, if we look at Jesus Christ as an example, or like Buddha, if you get like so high you can heal people, then there has to be a compensation. There is always a compensation. That's basic witchcraft, by the way, if you've ever dived into witchcraft. I did when I was a kid. So there will always be a compensation.
Yeah.
There has to be balance. So when your frequency gets so damn high, you will like the shadow will be very big. So more challenges like big, like creepier demons or like scarier things will come your way to see how far you can grow, how far you can grow. It's just like a video game. The challenge become even extremer and extremer, so you can become better and better.
Could you say what was your highest challenge? Probably
I've had 2 in which I was so damn scared, like I didn't really know what to do, but those are spiritual experiences. I think my personal like my personal development challenge, I think that was stop doing witchcraft. Mm-hmm. And understanding that it was not helping me in any way, and actually making my life worse than the way I felt already. Like I was very young. I was 12, and I felt very uncertain about myself, insecure. Like I was bullied a lot, and I was in a very low place in my life, and I wanted to change that. And witchcraft and the law of attraction said, if you do this and this, and if you perform this spell, we will guarantee that it will change. And it did change. I've learned firsthand that spells do work, and that those kind of things are not something to mess around with. So that was very interesting. Mm-hmm. And letting go of that, letting go of wanting to control my life with witchcraft, with the law of attraction, letting go of that part, of letting go of my ego in that way, because I wanted to have my own business. I wanted to quit going to school, and I wanted to have this much money, and I wanted to have this kind of life, and I wanted to be popular, and I wanted to be a beautiful girl. I wanted to be liked. I liked this guy, and I wanted him to be my boyfriend. He became my boyfriend. I earned the money. I had my business, and like everything came true, but I was interfering with my own life path. And I was feeding my ego what it wanted instead of surrendering to the process of life. And I gave my ego all of these things, and it was never happy. It was never satisfied with what it got. So it always wanted to have more and more and more and more and more. So I felt more unhappy and more unhappy and more unhappy, because there was never enough.
Yeah.
And so you keep practicing the practices that tell you, I will give you everything you want. Instead of completely surrendering to God, to the higher power, and say that, like, I know that there is a path for me. I know that I have, like, that I would walk it. And no matter what kind of challenges or how hard my life will be, I will stay on this path, and I will keep following my intuition and learn from it, grow from it, and how do you say that, like, finish my mission here on earth, because I know my mission. I know what I've came to do here on earth. Like, I've known that since I was 18, and from that moment on I was like, I have to do this.
Yeah.
But surrendering completely to your mission and to what you're supposed to do here, that was like giving away all my power. That it
Yeah.
felt like I have to give everything away. I have to give away my control of life. And that felt so scary. But it also, yeah, it also gives you so much back in return.
Gives you
Yes.
real power, I would say, because the power that
Yeah.
we have, the sense of control that pretends giving us power, it gives us a tiny glance of power. So yeah, we can do something because we are creative beings. We can create whatever we like, but it can be way more, and it can be way more fulfilling. Also, if what you're doing belongs to what you just called your life path, um, speaking more in terms of energy, would be things that align most with you, with your core vibration. This is how I like to call it, because you have a core vibrational frequency, something that is already you with what you come to earth with, you said. And there are things that are more aligned with it naturally. And while you are here experiencing your story, experiencing also painful situations, so rejection, for example, you think that you need you need things or people or something to give you a value which you never lost, like to give you something to make you happy. And these things are so false because they are not necessarily in alignment with you. I mean, probably they are, some things maybe, but many of them aren't. It's just the easy way out to get them. So you think, oh yeah, then everything will be fine. It's the easy way out of pain. But I really like one one conclusion by Rumi, who said the cure for the pain is in the pain. So sometimes you just need to go into it and to surrender to your pain in order to find what is healing it or what can heal it.
Precisely. And that's the other thing I want to conclude in this podcast too, like what I also wanted to say about spiritual development, because I think that's a very good step up to to the next part, is if you don't conclude personal development in psychic development, and if you only focus on like the spiritual experience and the spiritual development part, then you will I give it a character and I call it the dark magician. And because everything you'll do, everything he does, from every spiritual work that he does, is based on the ego. And what did I already tell you? Ego wants more. Ego wants to gain more power, wants to have it all.
Wants to take things.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And so there are little like that's what I experienced when I was practicing witchcraft. Because you have to balance out nature. So you want to get something, you have to offer something. That's how it works. Whatever you give, you get 3 times back. Mm-hmm. So you have to do your offer, you have to do your bidding, and you will get it back.
Like that picture, yeah. Whoops.
So when you're doing spiritual work, you automatically develop your gifts more the more you do your personal development, because the ego will disappear, and there is more space for your spiritual gifts, your natural spiritual gifts, to come forward. And if you don't do this, if you don't do the personal work, the personal development work, and you still want to get the gifts, you're looking for connections with entities, you're building relationship with entities that will give you whatever you want. And that's what happens during, like, if you practice witchcraft or the law of attraction, you're building relationships with entities that offer you to get whatever you want. but you don't see them, you don't notice it, but you're basically like offering stuff to them, offering your own energy to them, in order to get what you want.
I guess, sorry, the law of attraction, I guess it always works. It's just probably the main question is, do we initiate it?
Manipulate it.
Yes.
Like, do you want to manipulate to get what you want?
Or not, because I think it always works. So no matter what you are doing, the law of attraction, you always attract something in your life.
I have something against the word law of attraction, because there's like this entire like religion sort of like behind it right now. So I would prefer to call it more like a law of reflection. I think with the law of attraction, people twisted it so they can manipulate their own life.
Trying to manipulate life always comes from the ego. That's the main point, because I think many people will be triggered by us saying, don't play God in your own life, because somehow you are God in your own life. You are your universe. But the problem with this is, I mean, you have all the power to create things in your life, but the problem is that we use our power from the ego, and the ego is nothing extremely, it is helpful in a sense to survive under the conditions we have here, but it is not who we are. So what we want sometimes is not what we need.
We don't understand anything at all. And the moment you surrender and you let it just happen into your life, the puzzle pieces will just like, they will get into place. And the more I do this myself, like the more I will be like, oh my God, I could have never thought this was going to happen into my life. Like I know my mission, I know what I'm supposed to do here, but if I want to go there with my mind and try to already think about how am I going to go there, I'm scared. Like I think like I can never do this. Who am I? Who am I to do this? And last week, someone just randomly sent me a message and told me, hey, I need someone for this and this and this. And I think you could be the person that I need. Would you be interested in having a call? And I was like, but this is so close to what my mission is. How can this just drop into my lap? And like,
you were open. Yeah, because you were open. Could you describe how to go inwards? Because I think this is also something that people think could be abstract. Like, how do you get from your mind into your heart? What kind of sensation is it? How do you get there?
I like to do it in a meditation, and I don't really enjoy guided meditations because in a lot of guided meditations, you stay up very much into your head. So I actually have 2 meditations on my own YouTube channel that I think are very helpful to like really enter into your body. So the first step to do is you have to become aware of yourself. And I don't mean aware of your thoughts. I mean aware of your body. So when you're into meditation, feel how your body feels. Like wiggle your butt if you're sitting. Like I prefer sitting because if you lay down, you fall asleep. And then start to feel your organs, which is maybe weird to understand, but feel how is your belly feeling? If you're a woman, can you feel your womb? Can you feel your stomach? Can you feel your liver? Do you feel everything within yourself? Can you feel your teeth, your nose, the inside? Like, can you feel the insides? And then eventually you come to your heart. And I see every part of me that is energy as something I can communicate with, because I'm energy too. So I communicate with my heart. I talk to my heart, because for me, it's a part of me and it's a gateway. And so that's how I already start to communicate and build a relationship with my own heart and with my body. And the more you sink into your body, the more you you become aware of yourself. You become aware of your form.
So I think when we say focus on the mind, or focus on the heart, or focus on something else, or meditate, or become aware, these are often really abstract sentences for people that are not in touch with these topics yet. But I think when we describe it as a game of focus, and you practice this game of focus through meditation, you can build up a connection very fast at some point to your heart. For example, I don't always need to go through the whole process of meditation to connect to my heart. It's
it becomes normal to you. It becomes automatic. So the moment you
yes,
wake up, you're already connected to your heart because you can already feel yourself.
yes,
It just becomes a standard practice. It becomes something very normal to you. And one more thing I want to add to the meditation part is you won't be able to do it immediately in one time. Like if you have never done this, like it's not weird if you cannot do it immediately. And stay out of your head, because sometimes your head is just showing you the images, just showing you that whatever you want, because it's already, you're making a fantasizing situation, you're visualizing most of the time. Don't do that. If you feel any blockages within yourself, like you feel like, hey, it's not really flowing here or in my throat or in your head, you start to get a little headache or stomach ache, back pain, that's something you have to pay attention to and send the love to, because that's what asks attention of you at the moment.
I think it was an amazing, amazing conversation. I really feel that, people who are on their journey, who are just interested in these topics, who just want to know what a ghost is. I don't, you can look at this topic from so many perspectives, and I think it could be a very interesting talk for many people who are interested for their own reasons. Yeah, in ghosts, in self-development, in spirituality, in meditation,
and
whatever.
self-awareness is one of the most important things. Listen to yourself, listen to your thoughts, understand what is going on in your physical form. Like the self-awareness is so, I can't stress it enough. Like it's so important in this entire part.
Yeah, definitely. I thank you so, so, so much. Thank you. It was amazing.
Thank
And
you for having me.
have
Thank
a
you
beautiful
too.
day.
Yes, you too,
Bye.
baby.
Bye
Bye.
bye.